dropping an Emrakul, because if your opponent drops an Emrakul first, show and tell, you don't get any kind of haste bonus.
Right.
So your opponent's going to attack you first with that Emrakul and annihilate you. You can both have the same named legend on the battlefield now.
Yeah, that's a very interesting situation that we could see come up right here in this match. BBD is going to lead things off with an island into a ponder, and he doesn't like what he sees, so he's going to shuffle away the top of his library and get a fresh card off of the top.
Yeah, so in this mirror match, I think Show and Tell is almost just a do not cast card unless you have taken a look that turn with something like Gitaxian Probe. Otherwise, it's just Force of Will fodder.
Yeah, looking for Gitaxian Probe in Huey's deck. I'm not seeing it.
Okay, but
there are 4 copies in BBD's deck, and that may be the edge. It may end up being the edge that BBD has, but we'll see. Huey leads things off immediately, island into Lotus Petal, so he's got 3 mana on turn 1, declines to use it at this point, passes back to BBD.
Yeah, so what Huey's doing is he is setting up his mana, making sure you get those out there. You don't want to get something dazed just randomly. So.
Right. And another ponder from BBD for his second turn to follow his Lotus Petal.
Right, BBD also playing his Lotus Petal first around days. And maybe he is looking for a second land off this ponder. Definitely wouldn't want to have a ponder counter there. No, we see he has an Ancient Tomb in his hand, one of the soul lands that accelerates this deck out along with City of Traders and the Lotus Petals that are on the battlefield.
Yeah, I played with Ancient Tomb and City of Traders way back when they were in Standard, but I never started calling them soul lands.
When they were in Standard.
Yes. But I never started hearing them being referred to as soul lands until the last couple of years.
Yeah, I didn't hear it until a couple of weeks ago. I think it might have been AJ Soccer I was commentating with in Atlanta who first clued me into that.
Yeah, based on the, or both referring to Soul Ring.
Yeah, at first I thought it was S-O-U-L,
right.
And was very confused.
So William plays an Ancient Tomb of his own and passes back.
Yeah, both players with Ancient Tombs, they tap for 2 mana, but you take 2 damage. It's worth it. I wonder how much damage would it still be worth it?
You mean if they were to say, like, reprint a fixed...
Sure,
a fair
for Standard now, 2 mana, 3 damage? Is that okay? Probably not.
I don't know.
If you have any opinions on that, if a reprinting of Ancient Tomb with more... Whoa, well, let's stick with the action here.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in just a moment. Brian Braun-Duin going for the show and tell.
Yeah, no Gitaxian Probe.
Just going to risk it here.
Yeah, absolutely. And Huey's going to go ahead and Spell Pierce that.
Maybe he had some kind of soul read on Huey not having a monster in his hand. Now, one other possibility off of the show and tell is you might just put a sneak attack into play, right?
Yeah, and I believe BBD has one in hand. So what I see in BBD's hand looks to be double Brainstorm. I think that's Force of Will all the way on the end. I'm not sure about the middle card. And the red card, I believe, is that sneak attack. But
see multiple sneak attacks in Huey's hand, and he's probably going to cast one right here.
He does. Looks like he cracks a Lotus Petal, taps his Ancient Tomb, and plays a City of Traders.
So he is floating a colorless, which is important consideration for spells like Daze and Spell Pierce, although don't know if BVD is going to want to... He's going to Force of Will, exiling Brainstorm.
And it looks like that middle card was Gristlebrand in BBD's hand. So his hand right now is Sneak Attack, Gristlebrand, Brainstorm.
Yeah, that's Huey's hand, so he's fine with this sneak attack getting countered. He can try again next turn, although he will need to crack his second Lotus Petal.
BBD's hand is identical. I'm pretty sure that their sneak attack...
Oh, you were describing BBD's hand.
BBD and Huey have identical hands. So Brainstorm from BBD.
A true mirror match right there.
BBD draws Land Emrakul with his Brainstorm.
So now he can play a land, he can play a Volcanic Island and go for the sneak attack, but cannot activate it this turn.
He's deciding what he wants to put back. He can, he's got the opportunity to refresh the top of his library with a fetch land for that other Brainstorm he has there. Looks like he's deciding on the Gristlebrand And I'm not sure what other card.
So we've seen this happen
Griselbrand
before
Volcanic Island.
where the constraints of the red mana on the sneak attack, because to go off with it, you need double red. One to cast it, one to activate it on that turn.
If you want to do it that turn that you cast it, yeah, you need that other,
So
that
both
second
of
red.
them. BVD here chooses not to cast it, not to give away what his plan is. He doesn't want to crack that Lotus Petal to play a sneak attack. And then Huey on the other side has to crack the Lotus Petal to play the sneak attack. And it does not appear that he has drawn another red sword. Oh, no.
Oh, he does have a Misty Rainforest.
Misty
Off the
Rainforest.
top, yeah. So it looks like he could potentially... Yeah, he's going to go ahead and add 2 with the City of Traders, play the Misty Rainforest, which destroys the City of Traders. And so now he's going to sacrifice the Lotus Petal. So it looks like Huey is going all in on the sneak attack. So there you see it.
So BVD's only real shot here is to sacrifice that Scalding Tarn, refresh his library, and then Brainstorm and try to find an answer to this sneak attack right here. So critical turn.
Sneak attack on the stack right now. BBD's hand is Emrakul, Brainstorm, sneak attack.
And Huey not cracking his Misty Rainforest yet until the sneak attack resolves.
Right, because
if this is countered, he may want to be able to use his Brainstorm to set up his future draws along with the fetch land.
Exactly.
BVD's going to go for it. He has to. He has no choice. Fetches up a Volcanic Island.
So he is shuffling away the Griselbrand that he had previously had and had put on top of his library with the Brainstorm. So Griselbrand going away, but BBD still has a threat in the form of Emrakul. And BBD is going to Brainstorm, try to find an answer to that
Brainstorm.
sneak attack. Sneak attack still on the stack. It has not yet resolved. What does he find? Scalding Tarn, Brainstorm, and is that Misdirection? Yes, it was. It's a 1-of Misdirection.
Cannot
do anything here. Yeah, it's
sneak attack.
nice in a counter war, but there's no no counter spells on the
He needs to
stack.
start a counter war.
Exactly.
And even then, he would be too low really on cards to effectively use that Misdirection. Well,
yes, so it looks like sneak attack's going to resolve now. I believe we're going to see a Griselbrand from Huey.
He drew a Brainstorm, so he's got one more shot to try to stop this, right? Sacrifice the Lotus Petal, cast the next Brainstorm, go one card deeper, keep the Misdirection, and hopefully find a Force of Will.
Yeah, he doesn't have a way to...
Is his only choice.
He doesn't have a way to refresh the cards on top, so it's basically going, sacrificing the Lotus Petal just to see one card deeper. He decides he doesn't want to do that, and he says, all right, sneak attack resolves. Huey says, okay, going to crack my Misty Rainforest, get a Volcanic Island, and I think we're going to see some sneaky attacking.
And that's 16 life on BVD side.
There
A
you see
crucial number,
Griselbrand.
so Huey instead goes for the Griselbrand.
And immediately draws 7 cards, going down to 8 life. Finds, a ton of stuff, including an Emrakul. Oh, wow. Finds a Lotus Petal Emrakul.
Yep.
He's going to play Lotus Petal, he's going to sacrifice it, and
that's
Emrakul
it.
comes down to join the party. Those guys make quick work of BBD here in Game 1 of Round 9 of the StarCityGames.com Open Series, featuring the Invitational live from Indianapolis. We're already off to a pretty exciting start.
Live unless you are watching a replay in the future.
Yes, that's true.
Hello in the future if you're watching.
It's live for us and live for people listening right now.
It is live as of Saturday, October 26th?
Yeah,
I think it's 26th.
What happened to October? It just flew by. I think
I'm
2013
still
just
saying
flew
wake
by.
me up when September ends, and you're talking about October, so I guess I should have woken up.
Yeah, your alarm, you slept through your alarm apparently.
Sorry.
All right, so sideboards. On BBD side, we've got Grafdigger's Cage, Pyroclasm, Blood Moon, Red Elemental Blast, Through the Breach, Defense Grid, and Echoing Truth. What do we got? I'm just wondering if it's a similar sideboard on the
No,
other
it's
side.
not. It's very different on Huey Jensen's side. Leyline of Sanctity, Through the Breach, Echoing Truth, Jace the Mind Sculptor,
Jace.
Blood Moon, and Red Elemental Blast.
So both players likely to bring in the red blasts just to help win those counter wars.
Yeah, and I think Through the Breach
Through
is
the
a card
Breach,
for this
yes.
matchup because the show and tell can be so dangerous, could backfire on you. You'd rather go for Through the Breach.
Exactly. Both players with access to Through the Breach, but BBD has 3 where Jensen has just 2.
I've heard differing opinions on Jace the Mind Sculptor, specifically in this mirror match. Um, some players were talking about it, saying, should I have Jace in my sideboard for the mirror? And some people think absolutely yes, like you want to go for a slightly longer game. Some people say no, and I think the Through the Breach, like going for more combo kill or different combo kill versus the show and tell, is the preferred method. So we'll see what these players decide to do with their sideboards.
Yes, I guess the thing with putting Jace in the deck is you do have some sort of out to Emrakul.
Off of a show and tell?
Off of a show and tell.
Yeah, if they still go for that.
If they still go for the show and tell, that's the thing. Like, are they even going to have the show and tells? As you mentioned earlier, playing show and tell against the show and tell deck is just giving them 3 mana, doing the work for them.
Yeah.
And you don't want to end up giving your opponent the window to do exactly what he wants to do. So Through the Breach likely to replace those show and tells. Looks like the players have decided. So what's your legacy deck? Burn is, I believe, what you were.
Yeah, I like to attack.
Yeah.
In just about any format I play these days, and so Goblin Guide is kind of the general of attacking in Legacy. Attacks on turn 1. I don't think anything else that sees regular play attacks on turn 1 in Legacy. So
Yeah.
I would want to do that, even though with all the burn spells, it's not really a traditional creature attack deck. It's attacking.
Yeah, it's
attacking their life total with burn spells.
Also just burning stuff out of the way so you can attack free and clear. You just go to the head.
I think you have to.
That's fair.
In Legacy, you have so little time and so little spells to finish your opponent off with. Every one matters. Like if you have cards left in your hand as a Legacy burn player when you kill them, then something has gone awry.
Yeah. Just
it's like everything to the dome, pure 20.
Yeah, burn is a deck that we haven't really seen a lot of lately, although it seems to peek its head out kind of from time to time.
It shows up from time to time. There was one in a top 8 that I commentated recently. I want to say that was in Atlanta.
And it's probably the cheapest Legacy deck.
Maybe.
I mean, it
depends on whether you're running Arabian Nights Mountains.
Oh, okay. That could have an effect.
Okay, both players are keeping here. The Sneak and Show Mirror, BVD, Braun-Duin, GP Louisville champion starts off on the play after losing game 1, and both players start with Volcanic Island. Safe to play those. No wastelands on this feature match table.
Both players with Emrakul in hand.
Wow.
So a Ponder from BBD meets Spell Pierce from Huey. Huey also has Gristlebrand in addition to that Emrakul.
Huey choosing to fight over that Ponder. BVD playing the Ancient Tomb afterwards.
Yeah.
So I don't know if BVD was baiting that Spell Pierce, because he could have played the Ancient Tomb. Was he hoping to draw a different land and play that first?
Yeah, I guess that's
very interesting, and very interesting. Not only that Huey spell pierced that Ponder, but how quickly he did it.
Right. It was that's the plan. I'm gonna keep him from manipulating his library, keep him from sculpting a hand, and in the meantime, I'm gonna try to resolve my own Ponder, which he does here on his second turn. Has not yet played a land, and he's gonna play a second Volcanic Island and pass back. Now, he's got Force of Will, Misdirection, Brainstorm, Spell Pierce.
Wow.
He's got a ton of counter spells in hand. He has access to, I want to say there was a Through the Breach in those top 3 off of that Ponder. So he's got that coming up. Yeah, we draws another Ponder.
Both players have boarded in Through the Breach. So that could be a situation where Huey looked at his opening hand, saw so many counter spells, and decided, okay, my plan is I'm going to use some of these early on to disrupt BVD's card selection.
And now we see Huey going for ponder number 2, and BBD says, I'm going to pierce your ponder.
And
So
this time Huey does not play a third land after that, so again, Spell Pierce doing some work in the early game, countering ponders on both sides.
BBD now resolving a Brainstorm, finds Lotus Petal double land, I think. Looks like he's going to put back Lotus Petal and one of those lands. Plays a Scalding Tarn and passes back to Huey. Huey looking for that third land. He finds that through the breach that was there. He's going to go ahead and Brainstorm. Let's see if BBD lets this one through, and he does. Huey finds, I think, 3 straight lands, or at least 2. He's got Ancient Tomb, Scalding Tarn, and Mystery Card. He's going to put back.
He puts the Scalding Darn face down on the table. Okay, I'm gonna play this. And these other 2 cards, figuring out what to do. Both players brainstorming into a fetch land.
Yeah.
Very fortunate.
Yeah, the fetch land Brainstorm interaction, one of the most powerful interactions of Legacy.
So
He looks like.
Oh, he's putting back a Scalding Tarn.
Okay, so decides that.
Oh,
Yeah,
he had
he's got
2.
a
Okay.
second Scalding Tarn. Okay.
That was the mystery card we were unable to see on the Brainstorm.
So he put back Scalding Tarn, and was it Gristlebrand?
Yeah,
that he put back?
Gristlebrand.
Kept the Emrakul in hand, along with that through the breach. So BBD is cracking his Scalding Tarn here. Going to refresh the top of his library. Does not want to redraw Lotus Petal.
So there you see Through the Breach. This is the sideboard card that both players have brought in, probably to replace their show and tells. Interestingly, it's an instant. Put creature card from your hand into your play. That creature has haste. Sacrifice that creature at end of turn. So that end of turn is a trigger. So if you cast this at the end of your opponent's turn, you get to keep the creature through your turn.
It's past the at end of turn trigger.
And that could be something that comes into play. You cast it Through the Breach at the end of your opponent's turn, force a counter war, and then on your turn you can maybe be free to resolve something.
Something else, yeah, or a second Through the Breach, or, you know, some other way to get a giant fatty into play. So BBD now resolving a Brainstorm for the second consecutive turn. And these are main phase Brainstorms.
Yeah,
That's the Adrian Sullivan special.
they have both pondered, had Spell Pierces pondered, now going for main phase Brainstorms.
Polluted Delta is the play from BBD post Brainstorm. And Sneak Attack.
He's going for it. Take 2 from the Ancient Tomb.
Huey, we know, already has a ton of counter spells. He's going to start with a Spell Pierce, and Spell Pierce takes out that Sneak Attack.
Yeah, BVD is okay with that, he says. Maybe he's not okay with it.
Right, but
he has to live with it.
It happened, yeah.
It happened.
So he passes back to Huey. Huey untaps his. He's got 2 Volcanic Islands and a Scalding Tarn in play to BBD's 2 Volcanic Islands, Basic Island, Polluted Delta, and Ancient Tomb. So Huey significantly short on mana as compared to BBD, but he's got something to work with at least. A 3rd Volcanic Island off of that Scalding Tarn for Huey.
And an Ancient Tomb, here we go.
Catching up now. There's the
Through the Breach.
Main phase. So BBD is going to force removing force, and misdirection removing Force of Will from Huey will allow Through the Breach to resolve. Emrakul swings in.
Not quite dead.
Yeah, he's not dead. It looks like he's scooping, but that's the Annihilator trigger.
Yeah, and Huey's scooping up his graveyard for the Emrakul trigger.
So BBD down to 1.
And that's one of the things here. If your opponent resolves a sneak attack and annihilates you with Emrakul, but you're still alive, you might still scoop because you have no board and they have a sneak attack. With Through the Breach, Huey now still needs to refine 2 pieces.
Yeah, so it's not over. Basically, at this point, BBD is starting over and can't use fetch lands, but yeah, Huey does not have a way. Can't use fetch lands or Ancient Tombs, but BBD doesn't have a way to kill him. So why not continue to
and he draws
see if
an
he can find a
Ancient
way
Tomb.
out? Yeah, so BBD just
That's that's
playing draw go, literally draw go with
He
no
can't-
land drops, and Huey finds a sneak attack, and
Yeah,
there
there
it
it
is.
is.
Emrakul will do the final 1 point of damage, plus an additional,
Overkill.
yeah, a little bit of extra, and Huey wins 2-0 here in round 9 of the StarCityGames.com Open Series, featuring the Invitational, defeating the previously undefeated BBD. So Brian Braun-Duin falls to 8-1. Huey 9-0. Going to
Yeah,
headed for
the Pro Tour Hall of Famer. You know, two weeks now after his inauguration, smashing at the Invitational, and he has been smashing the Open Series in recent months, averaging a top 8. Yeah, he won.
Yeah.
He won one of the Standard Opens in Salt Lake City just a few short months